Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the brushes that I have received recently that I consider, brushes to get now before it's too late. And I have a Hakuhodo order and a one Sonia G brush that I haven't showed you guys yet that I'm really excited about. I did film this earlier and then I realized I missed so much information. But let me just preface it. I've been feeling pretty sick for the past week, so I'm a little down, a little low energy. So bear with me right now. On top of that, my kids I just picked my kids up because they've been in close contact with a case at school. So they will be home for like at least a week. Anyhow, I think I might have a hard time posting for a little bit, so I wanted to make sure I got this out as soon as possible. It's kind of a time sensitive thing going on here. So let me first start out with the Hakuhodo eye brushes. So I got the 100% blue squirrel eye brushes that I had not gotten yet, and a lot of what's behind this, and if you've listened to my previous videos, is that I believe Hakuhodo was running out of their blue squirrel hair, so they're starting to mix some with synthetic, and I don't think these will be around for very long, at least not the way that they're made now. I really hope these are not mixed with synthetic. It didn't say that they were, but there's two other, I'll link the previous video where I go over the two other styles that are now made with synthetic hairs. But let me go over the ones that I just got. I have not used these yet. I just opened them today. And I'm going to compare them with the Goss 3 and 4, as well as a Mizuho brush that is kind of comparable. If you guys are looking to get these particular Hakuhodo brushes, I would definitely get them sooner than later, because I think these are at risk for being discontinued or being made with synthetic hairs. So let me first, I'll show you guys the ones I got. So going from biggest to smallest, I have the S142, the S146, and the G5534. So the 5534 this is 13 millimeters, 16 millimeters, and 18 millimeters. So I kind of thought these would be a little bigger, but to compare them, these two aren't really like any two that I have, but this larger one is pretty much almost a dupe for the Goss number 4, although the Goss looks a little bit bigger because I've had it for a while. I've washed and used it, but they're pretty similar. The length is the same, but I just wanted to let you guys know, if you wanted the 4 and now you can't get it, I would say this one is pretty much a dupe. Something that I also learned from one of you guys is that the Goss 3 is the most similar to the Hakuhodo G5522. Now this is a mixed hair. They don't, this is not available in blue squirrel anymore. So this is the closest you can get, but it's not the same. They look very similar, but there is something very special about the Goss 3 and just how beautifully it lays down the first color, how well it blends everything together at the end to kind of like just bring the look together. So that's why I really like this one. I do have two, so I'm not too concerned about running out of this type of brush, but I kind of do feel like this style of brush is kind of hard to come by. I've looked into other brands. I have found one that's somewhat comparable, and that's the Mizuho CMP527. This is a mix, however, but I do feel like it's more of a gray squirrel feeling brush. It doesn't feel like it's mixed with gold, although it is. And it's a little different in that it's got that point. So I'll compare it to the number 4. It's just got that like an arrowhead shape, which is nice, but it's not quite the same. But I'm really a fan of these type of brushes for doing my eyeshadow with. They just give your eye look just like a very kind of airbrush, very makes your eye look more professional. I'll try a couple just so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me use the G5534 for the lower lash line. I'm going to use the Natasha Denona Mini Glam Palette, which still one of my favorite. I already have makeup on, so I'm sorry it's not going to look not going to give a whole lot of impact. Let me put it on the upper eyelid just so you guys can see how it kind of lightly dusts the eyeshadow on. It's the very first time I'm using this, so I'm kind of just learning it right now as we speak. So I think that's what I would use this brush for, to kind of like create definition. And because it's such a fine point, you know, it could be good for a lower lash line as well. Hopefully that kind of shows you guys how that's working. Now I'm going to try on the other side the S146. I'll just do the same color. So I think they perform kind of similarly. I hate to say this, but they feel a little stiff for what I'm used to, but it's been a while since I bought a new one of a squirrel hairbrush. I really hope they fluff out a little, because they're not that flexible. They're pretty firm. I mean, compared to what I'm used to. Like, look how much here, the 4 and the 142, like this one has so much more give, you know, but I'm thinking with time these will kind of soften up. Now I'm going to try the larger one with a different shade. I'll just try the light shimmer just so you guys can see how these brushes move and how they deposit shadow. Now I'm going to try to blend everything together with this. I don't normally use a brush like this to do this, but in fact, let me try just to show you guys the Mizuho. I use this to do a final blend as well, just because you can still get this one. I'm pretty sure you can. So this is kind of what I use these brushes for. Just to, like, you know, smooth everything out. So I really wanted to get these brushes shown to you guys as soon as possible, in case you're trying to decide which ones to get, or if you're going to get them at all. Okay, now I have two more. I have two face brushes that I got with this last Hakuhodo order. I have used them. I don't know, I'm kind of like, I feel like they're kind of cutting back on the hairs. This is the G5545, and it's their mixed hair goat and blue squirrel. One of their smaller paddle shaped brushes. I believe they have two that's a little bigger. But I actually really liked the way it applied the blush today. I did it earlier. And what is nice about this is that you can, you know, kind of pat the color on there, and then if you wanted to have a little bit of a sheen, you can buff with this. So, and I have highlighter on. Let me see if I could put a little bit on this side. I'm using this Suku kind of pink blush here. And I would say it applies product pretty heavily, not super heavy, but if you have like a very lightly pigmented blush such as this one, I do think this is a really good one, because it'll really get the color to show without being patchy. And then I got so the way I decided on whether to get this one is I did a search for the face brushes that are still made of 100% goat hair, and there's not that many, and this is one of them. And I also liked it because it was the S series, and I do really like these luxurious like gold ferrule, but it's a little small. I thought it would be denser. I thought there would be more hair, but this is a pretty small brush. I mean, this is more on the lines of like the mini cheek from Sonia G. It's more on that level, and I thought it would be a little bit bigger. But I did use this for highlighter. I'll use it with this Hourglass highlighter right here, and it did really put that highlighter on pretty strongly. Actually, you can still see it right here. I put that on there, but let me just do a little bit more. You guys can see what I'm talking about. But I'm not gonna really recommend this one just because I think you can get, for the price of this brush, you can get like the Wayne Goss 13, which is still available, and you get, I believe, a lot more hairs, and you just get more brush. So as long as those Wayne Goss goat hair brushes are still available, I would say go that route versus the Hakuhodo route, unless you're looking for these particular handles, because you're gonna get more. I just feel like you get so much more with the Wayne Goss brushes, but I don't think he's gonna be making those anymore because I don't think the hairs are gonna be around that much longer. But I would say go that way. Also, the Hakuhodo prices are going up, I believe, next month in February. So if you don't get it now, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm probably not going to be buying Hakuhodo brushes for some time. All right, now this is a really exciting brush. I've been waiting for it to come back into stock for some time, and that's the Sonia G Master Face. Now, this came out with her Sky set, and it's been out of stock as a single for some time. And I absolutely love it. I've used it once, and I'm always, you know, every time I use a Sonia G brush, I'm always like, oh my God, how did that work that way? But this is such a great brush. You know, I think price-wise, you know, these are on par, and I would say get this one. I mean, look how much more hairs you get. You know, it's a mix. It doesn't have squirrel hair, but it feels just as soft. And you get, I mean, look how dense this brush is. So I've been using it with the Dior Powder No Powder. This is a recommendation from Nikki. So thank you, Nikki, for teaching me something that allows me to appreciate this product, because I had heard so many good things about this powder, and then when I first tried it, I was like, I didn't see what was so special about it. It was okay, but it was like hard to pick up, and I just didn't get it until I used this brush. Now, I already powdered earlier, so I'm not sure if you're going to really be able to see the difference, but it just really like smoothed everything out. Let me kind of like smooth out this blush and highlighter. And this actually is a large brush, but it could work for under eye powdering. I don't know if you can see how like smoothing that is. And I think this would be good for finishing powder as well. I mean, I do have, and I also wanted to show you one more brush, but first of all, something I wanted to point out that I was a little surprised by, but not in a bad way. I'm surprised at how light it is. So this looks like it has more undyed hairs. I'm not sure if it's that they ran out of the dyed ones and they have more, you know, undyed or not, or maybe it's always been like this, but it's quite on the light side, more so than her other mixes. Like I have her mini cheek that I can't find, but I do feel like this is more undyed than dyed, and this is such a nice brush. It's dense, it's soft, it's just everything I hoped it would be, and I know after I wash it, it's going to bloom and be even better, and it's still available. So I wanted to make sure I brought this to your guys' attention, and this is definitely one that you don't want to wait on, not just because of the hairs, but because of the fact that these brushes don't come back into stock very often, or it takes a while. I did want to follow up a little with the Buffer Pro that I talked about in my last video, and I hadn't washed it yet because I wanted to get that video up right away. But as you can see, I don't know if you guys remember, but it's really fluffed up, and I'm really enjoying it much more now that it's got all this fluff. And let me try it with some, let me just try it with some of this bronzer here, and just to see how it looks. It's not normally how I would put on bronzer, but just what we're here for, to try things out, right? I'll put a little bit of this finishing powder just to see how it works. It definitely feels like it's not picking up my base makeup more so than it was before, but it's definitely improved since it's been washed. I would say this fluffed up more than the smooth buffer did after I washed it. It's probably because the hairs are longer. But I would say I recommend this one over the smooth buffer. The hairs are softer. I don't know if it's just the length, but it's just, it feels more luxurious. You know, you get more brush for just a little bit more money. So it's still available. I highly recommend this one if you're looking for a buffer brush. Now, if you don't use finishing powder and you're not looking for something to do a final buff, you don't need anything like this. In fact, I didn't use my smooth buffer for some time. I kind of had to force myself. And the only reason I'm using these type of brushes is because I've been trying to get into finishing powders and incorporating that into my makeup routine. But if you're not interested in doing that, there's really no need to get a brush like this. Not for everybody. So yeah, if you're looking for something for finishing powder, yes, but for the other things, I don't think it's necessary. And I think that's it. So I wanted to make sure I got that info out to you guys. I can't say, I can't really recommend these two face brushes, to be honest. And I still think, you know, get the Sonia G over anything like this. And as far as the eye brushes, it's gonna take a little bit for me to give my full endorsement to these brushes. But if it's something you want to try, I would say you should order it this month, because it's also going to go up in price, even if they're available or not. So that is my little presentation of these brushes that I've been talking about. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I don't get anything up for a while, just know I'm just very busy at home, and there's going to be a lot going on here. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for me to get back to you guys and stuff. But I'm going to really do my best to respond to all of your comments and all that. So just keep them coming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.